Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. Back to the Kenyan politics, ladies and gentlemen. As we speak, a number of Kenyans believe that their win was stolen in the just concluded general election. The supporters who support Raila Odinga and the Azimio family in general, some of them have not yet recognized that we have a new president. A number of them strongly believe that the election was bungled and the Court of Justice did not render a fair judgment as it was expected. Because of this, the Azimio deputy president, the running mate, Mother Karua, together with the Muslims for Human Rights, Muhuri, they have gone to seek help elsewhere. You remember previously, Mother Karua alisema kwamba it's not yet over until it's over. And she said she will be moving to the East African Court of Justice to go and seek interpretation of the verdict given by Lady Justice Mother Koome and the other judges who were in that bench. So they have filed a petition at the East African Court of Justice. That is Mother Karua and the Muhuri, Muslims of Human Rights. They want to challenge the conduct of the Supreme Court and the IEBC during the just concluded general election. This is not a light matter. It's a serious matter that should worry the Lady Justice Mother Koome. If at all some bribes were used to divert the verdict, I'm telling you, it will be a messy decision at the East African Court of Justice. Kama kweli kabisa kuna majaji, nimesema kama kuna majaji walihongwa ili kupendelea upande mwingine katika uamuzi wa mahakama, na kuambia mambo ni mazito. This should worry the Supreme Court. Because if the East African Court of Justice rules otherwise, I don't know what will happen. It will taint the name of the judiciary. It will taint the name of the elected president worldwide. If at all anything malicious happened, mambo ni mazito. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mother Karua in his petition, they are arguing that the Supreme Court denied Kenya's democracy. They say that the IBC and the Supreme Court in broad daylight failed Kenya's democracy. And now, this is what part of the petition says. We went into the election with a severely challenged election management body, that is IEBC. We had hoped that it could overcome those challenges. With the support of stakeholders and the constitutional ecosystem put in place to protect its independence and advance the proper execution of its mandate, that did not happen. Niko na homa kidogo inazidi kupona, so apologies. In 2022, the IEBC did not register over 80 million eligible voters. it did not make a serious attempt to rid its problematic voter register of all the issues identified from the previous audit. It did not audit the register within the legally stipulated time or publish the register as required by the law. We took our dispute to the Supreme Court, hoping for a fair hearing. However, the Supreme Court undermined the rule of law by violating the rights to a fair trial. It did not allow for proper scrutiny of the election technology, and where it did, it surrendered its conduct to one of the parties, the IEBC, and declined to hear the petitioner's findings. The court also found that the chairperson of the IEBC conducted the election in unlawful manner. But these findings again had no legal consequences. Regrettably, our petitions were dismissed with epithets and name-calling. We believe this conduct is so uncharacteristic of an apex court. Ladies and gentlemen, what I've read is just part of the petition which they have filed. And what does this mean to Kenya and the electoral justice in this country? Let me take you back a little bit for those people who read history and read news. You remember what happened in November 2020 when Mother Karua believed that she had been denied justice by the Supreme Court in a case between Mother Karua versus the Attorney General. The unsatisfied Mother Karua, after failing, as per her own sentiments, after failing to get justice at the Supreme Court, the highest court in this land, the Supreme Court, she filed another petition seeking interpretation of the judgment. She moved to the East African Court of Justice, the same way she has done. Do you know what? The East African Court of Justice overturned the decision by the Kenya Supreme Court and said, Mother Karua, and I quote, the Republic of Kenya violated Mother Karua's rights to access justice via the Supreme Court. That's what they ruled. They said, the Republic of Kenya, that is this country, violated Mother Karua's right to access justice via the Supreme Court. Now, in that case, Mother Karua was awarded $1 million of shillings. And let me tell you now, you know, people may ask, then okay, Mother Karua has moved to the East African Court of Justice. What does this mean to the country of Kenya? One, Mother Karua is not moving to the Court of Justice to overturn William Ruto's declaration or verdict. She is entirely going to the Supreme Court. She's entirely going to the East African Court to either prove right the Supreme Court's decision or to prove it wrong. Now, if there was some malicious plans that influenced the verdict from the judges, then I'm telling you, the Supreme Court of Kenya judges must begin to get worried as early as today. If anything happened, if they did not give the verdict as per the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, I'm telling you, the case is going to be messy than anyone ever thought. Kama kweli the judges did not rely on true findings, then definitely the East African Court of Justice, I'm telling you, will prove the Supreme Court wrong. And if that happens, it will be an international picture that the courts in Kenya have been captured, what we call judicial capture. And then that will also tell Kenyans that as much as we're in this country, if I'm arguing on the basis that if the judgment was given through influence from other powers, then it will paint a picture to Kenyans that as much as we're in this country, you will never get justice anywhere. The courts are rotten. If at all, the East African Court of Justice will rule otherwise. You know, mother is a lawyer. James Orengo is a competent senior counsel. And according to them, they 100% believe that the verdict was influenced from the people it favored. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a serious matter that now Kenyans should turn eyes to. It's a very serious matter. Now, if the Court of Justice rules otherwise, the election of William Ruto will have question marks, not only in Kenya, but internationally. He will be a Kamago president, if at all the East African Court of Justice will rule otherwise. So this is something that should worry everybody in the Kenya Kwanza fraternity and in the judicial system. This is a move that should worry every Kenyan in Kenya Kwanza and in the judicial system. You know, ladies and gentlemen, in this country, for those who have powers, the Supreme Court is not the final say. Hapana. Kuna kitu wa Kenya wanafaa kuelewa. At some point, kuna vitu zingine huwezi fanya. In democratic countries, there are things you can never do at your own will. No, you cannot. You can't. Lastly, I want to put it clear like this so that I make you understand what I've been saying. I now want to break my submission in points. There's something Kenyans should understand. Martha Karua moving to the East African Court of Justice is not going to overturn the election of William Ruto as the president. That is number one truth you should know. Number two, Martha Karua is going into this court to seek truth on the just given verdict. The truth she is seeking is to answer the question that if the Supreme Court served Kenyans the true justice, away from that, What does it mean to the judicial system? If the East African Court, as I've explained, rules otherwise, then the judicial system in Kenya will be rendered null and void, not by law, but historic, how can I call it? They will be in historical books as the apex courts that bungled Kenya's democracy. Now let's wait and see what will happen. But from where I sit, I see something fishy. But we pray that all goes well, and we pray that our country remains strong. We pray for the rains. We pray unga irudi chini because it benefits all of us. Whether you voted Azimio, whether you voted Kenya Kwanza, when the economy is high, it affects all of us. When the economy is down, it affects all of us. So it's our prayer that Kenya stabilizes, that the prices comes down, that the drought goes away. It's our prayer that Kenyans who are dying will get food. Otherwise, God bless you.